Good morning guys, this is Katie. I am outside in the cold and this is my first proper Chicago winter. So it has been snowing all weekend. We had our first big snowfall on Friday and had like a day where we weren't in work or anything because it was snowing. There's like a blizzard coming. We've had a weekend. It's now Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so everyone's off and there's like a warning that you can only be out for like 10 minutes before you get frostbite. And it's like currently minus 22 but feels like minus 33. We've never experienced it this cold, so if you've been here for a while, we used to live in China, went to a place called Harbin, which is like a huge ice festival. I'll leave that like link in the description below somewhere, but we had an awesome time in Harbin and it felt like minus 15 and that was the coldest it got. This is so much colder, but we wanted to come out and just experience it, if it's just for 10 minutes, just to see what it's like. It's cold, it's the summary, it's cold guys, so we're going to spend the rest of the day inside and we'll have a catch up. One of the biggest downsides about Chicago, there's so many bridges and they're so slippy. Okay, we've been out for like 15 minutes maybe. Hands, eyebrows, I've got little flakes of frost on them. It's really cold. My eyes starting to water. Oh god. Right, I think we're gonna go try and find a coffee and then we'll head back. Maybe we'll do a bit of a catch up about last year and what we're looking forward to for the coming year. Well, staying warm, that's the priority, staying warm. Right guys, I am now home and I am much warmer. So I apologise for my hair, it's hat hair, but it is cold here in Chicago. But I thought what we do today is kind of have a chat, have a little catch up. I feel like the last 4 months have been crazy and I haven't really had a chance to like sit down, catch up with you properly, kind of tell you how life has been and like look back at 2023, but then also maybe look forward at 2024. So does that sound cool? If it does, great, let's sit down and chat. But first of all, I am going to make a hot chocolate because did I mention it was cold outside? Right, got my hot chocolate for Christmas. Callum got me this like hot chocolate making set. We got a coffee machine for Thanksgiving and it's awesome, but you can get like K-pod things of hot chocolate, so I got that. So now every time I have any excuse to make hot chocolate, I do. Right, so cheers, let's have a chit chat. Right, so first of all, 2023, it was an interesting year. Yeah. I don't know how to say. It was one of those years, for me, 2023 was one of those years, it was like some of the best moments have happened in 2023, but also equally some of the worst. So January was great, loved January. We went to our, like a few One Championship events. So if you are new here, I used to live in Thailand. I used to live in Bangkok, Thailand with my husband. And we lived there for 4 years. And just to kind of give you a backstory, because actually a few people asked me this, it's like, how come we decided to move in the first place? So we had loved living in Thailand, but one of the things we kind of wanted to do was to be somewhere we could settle that was a little bit nearer home. So for us, like Bangkok wasn't the answer just because it was so far away from home, and I think we weren't able to go home within those 4 years of living there because of the pandemic. And I think it just really like pushed home more that we are so far away from home, like a 14 to 16 hour flight or 18 hour flight sometimes, even if you were doing via Dubai. Yeah, it's a long flight. But yeah, so that's part of the reason we wanted to move. We had looked at like the express entry route for Canada about a year before, like when was it? Into 2023, we were looking at the express entry, and I actually did. So part of the express entry application is that you have to do an IELTS test to show that you have like a good like ability in English. So I actually did mine around the Christmas time of 2022, And that's kind of like when we initially thought, well, let's put our hat into the ring here, let's see if anything comes of it. And then as 2023 kind of continued, like, so as 2022 continued, we realized that like they weren't doing express entry polls because of the pandemic. The numbers of how many like points you have to have, it's all a point system. So it looked more and more unlikely that we were able to go. So then in January 2023, we had learned about the IEC visa. Well, now the IEC visa isn't a permanent visa, it's a temporary 2-year working visa that allows you to go there, get experience in whatever position or in job, whatever you have, and then get points for that like role. So I was going to go as teacher and get my points so that therefore we'd have a higher amount of points for those express entry applications that we talked about before. We found out that we could do the IEC. Long story short, we needed to go with a company and pay a lot of money to be able to go with that company. But basically in January, they had contacted us and said, we can help you with this. You are eligible for this because of this, this and this. Let's put your application in and see if we can get it. So that happened in January, where I like had this thing where they were like, yeah, we can process you to see if we can get your IEC visa in. That happened in January, and we literally found out, I remember, it was like a Friday evening. We were over at Impact Arena and we were out having a drink and like dinner, and then I got the email. And it was like bittersweet because we were excited about moving, but the next day we had one championship at Impact Arena. And we were super excited for it. It was our first Impact Arena One Championship event. And it was kind of like, I don't know, it was just like a bittersweet moment of like a reminder that we might be leaving Thailand because we love Thailand. And that's at no point in any of this move was it anything to do with like not loving Thailand, because we do love Thailand. But it was more just, we wanted to be nearer home. So yeah, it was like a bittersweet moment. But that was January. We went to One Championship, loved it. If you haven't ever watched One Championship, it's like UFC, but it's run by a guy from Thailand. It has a lot of Muay Thai fights in it, but it's also like mixed martial arts. It would be, there's lots of different styles of like fighting and stuff involved. It's interesting, it's exciting. I would recommend, if you're interested in that, then watch that. So yeah, so we had that. We had a great few months after that in Bangkok. So we actually went to the Arctic Monkeys when they came over. We went to One Championship quite a few times. The country was like fully open again, so tourism was coming back in again. Yeah, like it was a good few months in Bangkok, just, you know, loving life, enjoying going out again, enjoying the restaurants, all of that type of stuff. April came, we had Songkran, and my school that I used to work at had like 2 weeks off of Songkran, and literally 2 days before the break, my IEC visa came in. So in that time where we were enjoying the city, we were also doing all the paperwork we needed to do for the IEC visa to see if that would come through. There was no guarantee it would, so we didn't tell anyone, we weren't really sure about it. It came through 2 days before the Easter holidays. So I gave him my notice at work to be finishing that summer and started applying for jobs over in Toronto, because that's where we wanted to go. But yeah, long story short, I had taken this job we had like started packing everything up, and it's such a shame because I feel like April, May, June, as soon as we knew that we were leaving, it was a 3 months of just stress of like getting everything ready, making sure that all of our shipping was ready to go, like getting our apartment sorted to be leaving it and saying goodbye, but also trying to enjoy as much of Thailand as we could before we left. And we did get to do a lot of things. So we just saw a lot of One Championship. Like my husband Callum loves One Championship, so we got to see a lot of that. We were working, we still worked on our business. If you're new here, me and my husband run a travel business called Creative Travel Guide. It has a YouTube channel and a blog. So we were working on that all this time as well, making sure that we were getting ahead on videos so that we had a bit of leeway if we didn't have the internet for a while, whatever. So yeah, so we were doing that. It was a busy few months. Our shipping came, we said goodbye to Thailand. It was very emotional, it was very sad. Then we went home and we had, do you know what I will say, it was such a lovely like month in the UK. So it was like end of June, start of July. It was like the weather was decent. We were able to have like lots of nice barbecues. We went to, I saw my family. I met my little niece. So my younger brother has just had a baby girl. Well, she is now 2. I think she's now 2, but she's the cutest little thing. So I got to meet her, which was great. And my husband and my mother-in-law, we all went to the Warner Brothers studio Harry Potter tour, which I just love. And yeah, so we got to do some nice things at home and just like catch up with family, and just after 4 years, it was so needed. It was like exactly what we needed. So then we moved. And that's when everything hit the fan, as it were. So we went to Toronto, and I have done an in-depth video of this, so I will leave the link to that because I don't want to go into it too much. But basically we moved to Toronto with the plan of living and moving in Toronto. We arrived, they processed my visa, it was all fine, but they wouldn't do my husband's because it was too late at the airport. They couldn't be bothered. And because of the way the immigration system works in Canada, you can either apply online, but at the time when we were applying, my husband would have to wait up to 8 months for his visa, and he only had a 6-month visitor visa. Or we could go to borders, and we tried. We went to several borders and they all said no. Basically, they didn't want to have to process it. And then we worked out that because those express entry points are not coming down anytime soon, and because my teaching job isn't a continuous job, because it has like summer, so you can only have like 2 weeks of like break from your work for it to count. And obviously I'm forced to have a summer break. It wouldn't count. Long story short, we decided after we had 14 days in total in Canada, and we were like, no, we're done. Well, it's too much stress. We're not going to do the fight. And like, for those of you who want to do the fight, great, all power to you. It wasn't for us. We just didn't want to do it. But that was like one of the most stressful times of my life. I'm not going to go into it, like I get upset when I talk about it, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but like it was so stressful, it was so painful, but it was sandwiched in between a trip to Detroit. So we had like 10 days in this Airbnb with the plan of like finding an apartment in those 10 days. Then we were going down to Detroit for like a 4-day trip and then coming back to Toronto to then live. That was the plan. What actually happened is we went down to Detroit and then we came back and just stayed back in that same Airbnb again because they had it free for a night, and then flew home. So yeah, great. But we did love Detroit. We actually were going down to Detroit to go to SummerSlam. So if you didn't know, and it's actually a new thing of mine, in the last, like during the pandemic, I started watching WWE and like love it. And I'm currently like, I'm just obsessed. And we will talk more about what's coming up in 2024 because I'm very excited for that. But we went to SummerSlam and it was my first ever like wrestling event, and it was incredible. And we also saw lots of Detroit, so we were able to go to like the I don't know if anyone's watched the TV program Hardcore Porn, but it's on, like we went to the porn like store that it's filmed in, and then we went to like some M&M stuff. We went to his like mom's spaghetti restaurant. We went to Third Man Records, which is Jack White's like record label, and he has a store. You can do a factory, like a tour of where they make the records. We obviously tried all the food there. Like it was great. I loved the time that we had in Detroit. It was amazing. And it was definitely like a highlight of the year. Unfortunately, it was sandwiched between a load of crap, but it was great. We loved Detroit. So yeah, that happened. And we went, after Detroit, we went back to the Airbnb to stay another night before our flight home. And at that point, we were like, we don't know what to do. We don't know whether we should try and go back to Thailand. We don't know, like at this point, we're going back home, like to live with our parents, because we don't have anywhere in England to live because we've been living abroad for 6 years. So we were like, oh, we don't know what to do now. We don't know where to go. But weirdly enough, the night before our flight home, we were looking at jobs. I applied for another job in Thailand for a different school it wasn't the school I worked for before, it was a different school. And I applied for a job in Chicago. And they were both that evening. And we had wanted to go to America a few years ago, but then like the pandemic hit, so we stopped applying for jobs because people couldn't get visas and stuff. So we had just kind of like moved on from it type thing. But yeah, it was literally the night before our flight. I applied for 2 jobs. We came home, and like the day that I arrived home, I had an email from this Thailand job to say, oh, we'd love to do an interview with you. So literally that night I went to bed, woke up the next morning and had this interview for this job. And they gave me the job in the interview, like on the spot, they gave me the job. And I'll be honest, if you are a teacher who's applying for an international school, it's red flags. Do not think about it first. If a job is offering you, if someone is offering you a job in the first interview you have with them, just from experience, just like what I found, it's just an experience thing. So we turned that down. Well, I say we, like I turned it down, but me and my husband, we make these decisions together, so we turned that down. And then this school in Chicago got back to me, and I hadn't heard from them for like 4 weeks. And like I just presumed that I wasn't successful in whatever, and they emailed me, and you know that it's because it was the start of their term and they were really busy, and I had an interview, and then like the day or so they offered me the job, and we were like, you know what, we wanted to do this before, it is a sign, like maybe we should just jump in for it. And I'm not gonna lie, like it did take us a while to make the decision of whether to go or not, just because we were I think we've been so burnt with Canada that we were so nervous about like taking anything that wasn't just our old life back. Do you know what I mean? So we were really nervous about it, but in long story short, we did accept the job. I went up to London to get our visa. So yeah, we were told that day we were approved, so we came home, started packing up suitcases, started getting everything ready, and then moved over here. So to give you a timeline of how that happened, oh, also by the way, one little thing in between, like we came home August, we came back from Canada in August, and we didn't move over here until the 25th of October. So we had August, September, and then October to really spend time with our family, to spend time with like, you know, like just enjoying a bit of England. And the weather was rubbish, so it wasn't that great, but it was nice spending time with the family, and also going to Chelsea. Callum's a Chelsea Football Club supporter, so we enjoyed going to all the home games and stuff for that as well. So yeah, that was our time period. October 25th, we moved over here. My first day of school was Monday 30th, where I was told, tomorrow you need to dress up as a Barbie girl for Halloween, because Halloween is a big thing here. And then it snowed on my first day with the kids. It was like full on snowing, which was great. So I was saying, my battery died. We moved over here 28th of October, and it has just been like this big whirlwind of trying to get stuff done. So like November was trying to see a bit of Chicago before it got too cold. So we went to like our first Chicago Bulls game. We went to Costco. We went to, we did all like the shops, and we got our apartment somewhat sorted. Callum got this lovely desk, which is what I'm using to film on, but like he got this nice desk and a chair for his office space, and we kind of tried to start organizing the apartment a bit. December, we were kind of getting ready for Christmas, so I got my Christmas tree, went to a Christmas market, but we were also waiting on 15 boxes for our shipping, and that did all arrive, but it was like, I can't even tell you guys, it was so much hassle and stress. I feel like, and maybe it's just like a bit of bad luck year, but like our shipping, for example, it's a very long story, but long story short, there was like 3 or 4 days that we waited in for shipping and it never came because UPS were incapable of putting our address correctly. We spent Christmas like sorting things out, unpacking all our boxes, getting the place is still nowhere near where we would like it. Like we do, all of the boxes are empty now and stuff like that, but we need to like buy a bit more furniture, we need to get a bit more organized, and that's kind of what our January is going to be about. But we had a lovely Christmas, like we enjoyed our Thanksgiving. We had our first Thanksgiving here too, and Callum made a lovely meal. And then for Christmas, again, a great meal. We enjoyed our day, chilled out. We actually went to a Chicago Bears game on Christmas Eve. It was so much fun. It was pretty cold, but I mean, it wasn't this cold, but it was like, I think maybe it was like 7 or 8 degrees Celsius, which is pretty good for like Chicago in December. but we loved it. It was so much fun. We're definitely going to head back. We said like next season we're going to try and go in the summer and do like the tailgating and stuff like that. So that was really good fun. Like I said, we went to a Christmas market, we went to some of the shops to see all of the Christmas stuff going on. Yeah, it was a good time. I really enjoyed Christmas, and I'm excited for next year. Like, I'll be honest, I tried to do Vlogmas this year and I got to day 2, and then day 3 was meant to be the day that the shipping stuff was arriving, and it didn't arrive, and it was a whole stressful mess. So that is why Vlogmas didn't happen this year. I apologise, but it's been a stressful few months. Next year we'll go full on in for Vlogmas. I'm going to do all of the Christmassy things. So I did a Christmas market this year and I loved it. It was at Wrigley Field, and I got like the souvenir mug and everything. It was great. But next year there's so much Christmas stuff here in the city. Next year I'm all in, gonna be full on Christmassy ink. But yeah, so that was 2023. Highlights: Detroit, won championship, spending time with family, spending time with my niece. Lowlights: that big Canada blurry mess, and then the fallout from that. But yeah, so that was 2023. So 2024, we have got some nice things to look forward to in 2024. So obviously our main priority is to kind of settle here and enjoy life in Chicago. This is our first full year here, so we'll be able to experience all of the things. I'm very excited for St. Patrick's Day. If anyone doesn't know, my husband's father is Irish, so we always celebrate St. Patrick's Day. But in the city apparently they changed the river to green, like they dye it green. Very excited for that. And then, well, so this month in January, we're getting the apartment sorted, and we actually do have a trip. We are going away, hopefully, if the snow and the cold stays off. So at the moment, it's like there's a warning at the moment that it's too cold for you to be out for more than 10 minutes, and it doesn't seem to have impacted the flights. I know last Thursday it snowed and all the Friday morning flights were cancelled, but other than that, my friend went away on the weekend this weekend, and their flight was fine. So I'm hoping flights are okay, we can go. But we have a trip in 2 weeks' time. We are flying down to Tampa. We are going to be going to the Royal Rumble, which is a WWE pay-per-view event. I'm so excited. This is how it starts. We literally got these tickets. We found out we were going to Chicago, accepted the job, and then bought the tickets before we even had the visa. I was so like wanting to go, and Callum got me them for my birthday. They were like they were an expensive birthday gift. I am so excited. Yeah, you'll see it, I'll film it all, we'll share it here, so don't worry. But also, so that's in Tampa Bay. We fly into Tampa, and then it's actually in like St. Petersburg. So we're staying in a hotel near Tropicana Field, is that what it's called? Where the baseball team is. We're staying near there. So that should be fun. We're just going for the weekend, Friday to Sunday, and I will film that, share that with you. And then February, we don't have any huge plans in February. I have a week off in February because obviously I'm a school teacher, so I get school holidays, and we have a week off in February, so that should be nice. I don't think we're going to go away, just because I want to pass my driving test here. So I need to do an American driving test. I have my English license, but I need to get my American license because after a certain amount of time here, you have to get an American license. So that is my intention for the February half term. And then maybe do like a little few days outing and have a little look at places on the outskirts of Chicago, like go to the smaller towns and stuff. So that is February. March, we have got like a few concerts. So we are seeing the Kooks and the Vaccines. There's someone else we're seeing. Callum's in charge of all the concerts, can you tell? Whenever he sees a concert that he thinks we'll like, he books them. So we've got a few concerts coming up. We're also seeing Raw. There's a theme here, can you tell? We're also seeing Monday Night Raw, which is WWE, when they come to Rosemont. I'm not sure when it is, it's near the end of March sometime. And then April's coming, and there's a few things. So one of the things that we really want to do whilst we're here is go to all the baseball stadiums. So Callum is like on this baseball Facebook page where they like, I don't know, I got it for him for Christmas. It's like a baseball book, and you get it stamped every time you go to a different baseball stadium. And we've been to a few. So we've been to Tigers, Chicago Cubs, Washington Nationals and Yankees, just from like previous trips when we were like younger. So we really want to go and try to go to all of the baseball stadiums. So in April, we have 2 weeks off, and we are going to do a road trip, hence the need to learn how to drive here. We're going to do a road trip. So we definitely know that we're going to end up in Philadelphia. Guess what, guys? Because WrestleMania is there, and we have got tickets to WrestleMania. So we are going to drive, and it's like we have 2 weeks off, and the weekend in the middle is the WrestleMania weekend. So we're going to drive down to Philadelphia the first week, then drive back the second week. I don't 100% know where we're going to stop at the moment. Hang on, let me just, my iPad's in front of me, because I've got my notes on here. Let me just double check actually, because I wrote it down. Okay, so the plan, and this is a very rough plan, it could change depending on how long we want to be in these places, but my plan is to go down to Louisville. I don't know what state that's in. Kentucky? I have no idea. Where is Louisville? Anyway, Louisville, because there's like a Slugger museum, which is where they make the baseball bats. Callum wants to do something like that. So I thought we'd drive down there, do that the first weekend. Then we're thinking of, because I'm obviously in Chicago, we're thinking of doing like Cincinnati, Columbus, Hershey Park. I really want to check out Hershey Park. And then go to Philadelphia. And then on the way back do Pittsburgh, Cleveland, then back to Chicago. That might change depending on like if there's any events that we want to do on the way there and back, or if there's anywhere else that we want to go to. We haven't booked it all yet, but that is the current plan. So that is April. May, no plans as of yet. Is it bad to say that I have no plans because WWE haven't released any more information about their next events? That's literally where I'm at right now with my obsession. So May, no plans, just working because I have no like major holiday off in May. June, I break up halfway through the month of June. So I'm really not sure what to do for the summer. We have no solid plans as of yet. We might have family coming over, so if we do, that will probably change our plans a bit or whatever. We are thinking, I don't know, we're thinking if we get tickets, Money in the Bank, again, WWE, shocker, I know, wrestling event, is in Toronto. Don't even get me started, I'm annoyed by it, but it's in Toronto in July. So we are thinking maybe of driving up and going to Toronto and like almost having a redo, not moving there, just to clarify, we aren't going to try and move there. But like, I have really bitter feelings about it at the moment, if I'm honest. Like, this is just me being honest, and this is nothing against Canadians, it's nothing against the country, it's whatever. It's just, we had a really like rubbish experience. So I have really bitter feelings about it at the moment. So I'm wondering if maybe we should drive up, see a little bit of Toronto, maybe like go and do the baseball there, so Callum can stamp it off in his book, go and do the Money in the Bank event, and then drive back down via Niagara Falls, because we love Niagara Falls. And I said this in my video when I talked about what had happened with the whole Canada experience, but one of like the first border that we went to try and get Callum's visa after we couldn't get it at the airport was Rainbow Bridge, which is literally overlooking Niagara Falls. And it's actually like way back when me and my husband started dating in 2011, and I went and did Camp America, and then me and him afterwards, we went to Niagara Falls, and that was where he told me he loved me for the first time. So it's like a really emotional place for us, and it's like something that's really like near and dear to my heart, but it's also like my favorite place in the whole world is Niagara Falls. I absolutely love it. And it was so heartbreaking. Like, I can't even talk about it. It was so heartbreaking to be in a queue trying to see if we can get my husband to live in a country that I have like put all my heart and soul into moving to for the last like year, and like not even be able to appreciate where we were. Like, I couldn't even look at the falls. I think afterwards I took like one photograph and I was done. I just couldn't. And I want to make it up. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I want to like make up with Niagara Falls. But yeah, so I'm thinking we might do that, but we shall just see. It's not 100% yet. Those tickets haven't been released yet, so we haven't got them yet. but also I don't know, we'll see. We also don't know when family are coming over, so if family come over and want to do something different or want to go somewhere else, then maybe that will influence our decision. But yeah, so that is that plan for the summer. We shall see. I start back at work in August, but I'm really excited to see Chicago in the summer. It's meant to be beautiful. A lot of people said there's lots of things going on, lots of street food markets, lots of like events and festivals. I want to see if we can get Lollapalooza tickets. I want to see if we can get those, but we shall see. And then after the summer, I have like no solid plans. I have very rough plans of like, we have a week off in October. I would like to maybe see if we can go down to Orlando and do a week there, but it just really depends on like what else is going on. If I really shouldn't say this out loud, if SummerSlam or another event is nearby that I think is more important for me to spend my money on, then I might just do that instead, but we shall see. But yeah, we might go down to Orlando at some point. I would love to do somewhere like New York or Vegas for Christmas, but it's so far away. We shall see how things pan out. But yeah, so there's lots of kind of travel stuff that I would like to do this year, and we shall see how that goes. Other than that, like just kind of thinking about 2024, my like main goals is to fully settle here and get everything sorted, get our apartment sorted. Eventually I will do an apartment tour, but right now you will just see random boxes everywhere, so we're not doing that. So I'd like to get our apartment sorted. That's kind of like my home goal. I would like us to just continue working on our business and growing that, and maybe trying something new, maybe doing a few more like Chicago, like maybe a new website about Chicago, something like that perhaps. I think that would be great and fun to do for us whilst we're here. Trying to be more consistent here. So I'm gonna be honest, like, let's have a chat about this because I feel like it's important. I don't know what to share on this channel anymore. I'll be honest, like when I was in Thailand, I just shared my life, and a lot of people enjoyed that because it was like unique and unusual because it's Thailand. Now that I'm here, a lot of my viewers are from America, so showing me going to like 7-Eleven in the US is not exciting to most of the viewers here. So I don't know, but I don't know what type of content you guys want. So like, I don't know if I should go back to doing like weekly vlogs or weekend vlogs, or just like sticking to like those travel videos that I've done before, but it might not be that I can put videos up all the time because we don't travel all the time. Or maybe I should home into doing like Chicago stuff. Like if you have ideas, let me know in the comments, because I really don't know what to share here. Do you know what I mean? Like we do a lot of travel content on Creative Travel Guide, but it's a very different style. They're not vlogs at all. And I just, yeah, I'm not sure what to do. But yeah, so if you have any ideas or any suggestions or anything that you'd like to see more of, let me know in the comments, and it might help us figure out what to do here. And also let me know if you like these longer videos or these shorter videos. I don't know. I did this course in, when was it? Like a year ago. I did like the Casey Neistat YouTube course, and he talked about like how everything you do, like every video you make should be a story. But he also was very hot on like how you edit videos, and because I've used his style of editing videos, any video that I make is like 3 minutes long or 4 sometimes if we're lucky, just because he doesn't believe, like his thing is like, you just show little seconds of clips, which I think is effective and catchy and fun, especially when you put it with music, but it does make for a very short snappy video, which probably doesn't show me as much as I'd like to perhaps. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. We'll have a chat. So yeah, goals, be more consistent on this channel. Try and get the apartment like sorted and homely. Maybe start a new website or something like that. It's something I'd like to do. Like I said before, I really want to experience all of the events and the seasons here in the city, and not like, that's why we went out today, is I don't want to shy away from doing things because you never know what's around the corner. But it was nice to like go out and see what minus 33 feels like. So yeah, and then yeah, I want to travel a little bit more because we've enjoyed that, and yeah, I think that's kind of it. And obviously see more wrestling. Number one goal. See more wrestling. just like a little catch up. I don't know why I'm obsessed with wrestling. I started watching it during the pandemic, loved it. If anyone does watch WWE, one of my first like pay-per-views I watched was SummerSlam 2022, where Brock Lesnar took a tractor and lifted up the ring, and I was like, and then I watched like all the documentaries about the different people, and I watched the dark side of the ring. If you watch the dark, maybe this should be about wrestling. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking. Thank you very much for listening to me ramble on. I don't even know how long this video is now, but thank you for listening to me ramble on, having a catch up. My hot chocolate is actually still fairly warm, which is good. But thank you again. Thank you for being here and sticking with me and being patient with these inconsistent videos, and let me know what you want to see in the comments below. So take care, guys. Thanks again, and I shall see you next week. I don't know what I'm sharing, but I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.